Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Skymetal Iron Gods, our D&D 5e campaign. This is Chapter 1, Fires of Creation, Part 13. And in just a moment, I will turn things over to our Game Master Vi to actually run the session. But first, a few announcements. First, I want to mention, if you look right up above my head here, you will see just 2 lonely domain relics up there. Domain relics are a way that you, the audience, can have an impact on our game simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, tipping $5, or cheering 500 bits. All of those things earn domain relics for us that we can use to gain advantage, cause the DM to reroll. And there's something else in there, and I forget what it is. One of these days, I'll actually remember to update that information in the sidebar. Nonetheless, it's you, the audience, that can do that for us so that we can have those benefits. Let's see. Well, I've been teasing it for, I think, a couple months now. And this past Saturday, Todd Stashwick officially made the announcement on his Instagram Live Coffee Talk. So I can now share it here. Coming up on Saturday, April 20th, is the second Legends of Eleonora, Zephyr Against the Mist. This is a Todd Stashwick's Nerd Circus presents event. And look at this lineup. We've got Dungeon Master Todd Stashwick, Jonathan Frakes, Deborah Ann Wall, Michelle Hurd, and Will Wheaton. As Todd put it, we've got 2 captains, a traveler, a commander, and a vampire that are going to be joining us for this Dungeons & Dragons charity livestream event happening right here on twitch.tv/mini-terrain-domain. And if you see down at the bottom in the yellow there, it says we will be auctioning seats off. A seat for a chance to play in this game. If you type !seat bid, you can see, as I just did, there is a direct link to the Charity Buzz auction site where you can actually bid to play in this game. I do want to say, for those who may be watching on the VOD, or especially if you're watching on the VOD on YouTube, it is currently April 2nd at the time of the recording, and there is 5 days and 19 hours remaining. So it's possible when the VOD first goes up this Saturday that the bidding will still be live, but just know that this is a timed event and the bidding may already be over. Though word has it there might be a second seat up for bids. These are a high dollar value item. The current auction is $5,250. And those are going up. I believe they're in increments of 500 right now. The most important thing, besides all of our amazing guests, is that this charity event is benefiting the Pavlov Foundation. We are going to be working with them, raising money, trying to hit our goal of $50,000 to help fight childhood cancer. $50,000 is enough money to fund a full research grant. And so that's what our goal is with this event. You'll be hearing about it quite a bit over the next couple weeks in every stream. We are going to have some pretty awesome donation incentives. I am 3D printing and custom painting a one-of-a-kind dice tower that will be sent to Todd Stashwick to autograph, and that will be available for a premium donation. Talon Claws donating a Dungeon Master screen that will have some Legends of Eleonora information or title and imagery laser engraved into it. Todd Stashwick will autograph that, and that will be put up for auction. We've got a Beetle and Grimm's Platinum, I believe, Shattered Obelisk box set. Tons of great stuff you'll want to tune in, as well as some giveaways from Die Hard Dice and the Pavlov Foundation. It's going to be awesome. Last game was incredible. The players have a blast. It's Jonathan Frakes' first time ever playing Dungeons and Dragons. Michelle Hurd is relatively new to the game. And you should all know, if you don't already, that Deborah Ann Wall and Will Wheaton are, as well as Todd Stashwick, are D&D veterans. So this is going to be amazing. We're super excited about it. Last announcement, or a couple notifications here before we get started, is that we are all adults playing a game of make-believe. You may occasionally hear adult language. You may hear graphic depictions of violence. Things can get intense with the role play. Things can get intense with those fantasy violence descriptions and other things. If that is not for you, nobody will think any less of you if you decide to go somewhere else. But we also do want you to know that we have had session zeros. We know everybody's lines and veils, and we respect those lines and veils. And we have safety tools in place to keep one another safe at our game table. We encourage you to have session zeros for your own games and put safety tools in place to keep everybody safe at your game table. Everybody should have fun. You shouldn't have to worry about somebody crossing your lines and veils. So please do that at your own games. And the final thing is, of course, as we do before every game, we just want to remind you that you are enough. You may not believe that, but it's true. There's any number of reasons why you might not be feeling that. Or maybe you are, maybe you're in a good place and you still just want somebody to talk to. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be struggling to want to talk to somebody. But maybe you don't know where to go or how to get started. So we've made it as easy as we can. All you have to do is type !help in the chat, and a couple of URLs will pop up. Find ahelpline.com, or you can check out takethis.org's growing list of resources. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I would like to turn things over to our Game Master, Vi.
All right, thank you, Jake. Last time we played Skymetal, you continued down in the deep, strange complex below the town of Torch. You tried to push farther in, braving places you have not been before yet, past the plant creatures, past the robots. There you found a medical bay. It was dominated by 2 massive medical robots and a big, almost like this canister, this tank, where in it was suspended a person. A person that you recognized as Council Member Conir Bane, the man who you were tasked to rescue. In a dire fight, you slew these robots and rescued Conir Bane from this strange suspension of fluids inside that tank. He seemed to be paralyzed, unable to move, unable to talk. His body covered in wounds and incisions, and the fallout of some kind of medical butchery. But he was alive. You did your best to give him your spare healing magic that you had. You caught your breath and you carried him out of the dungeon, back to town. And on your way back in town, you're ambushed by rope fists, these mercenaries, thugs that are employed by a certain man with his fingers in everyone's pie, a Garmin Ulrith. What is he doing? Why is he trying to ambush you? You noticed in your fight against these rope fists that they were intent on killing Conir Bane. Whenever they chanced, whenever they had a clean shot, they'd shoot their crossbows, try to, finish him while he's down. If you're in the way, they try to get to him. But with your combat prowess, you knocked them back, you dispatched them one by one, and you left one survivor, one that you knocked out, tied up, and carried with you. You took Council Member Conir Bane, dying but alive, and the unconscious rope fist, to the Church of the Wanderer Gods, where the priest of the many is here. Maybe he can heal Mr. Conir Bane. And that is where we left off last session. And that is where we'll pick up. You are here in the Chapel of the Wanderer Gods. This is a quaint, almost, modest chapel. It's not adorned with gold and wealth. It's got these simple alcoves, simple pews. It's dedicated to the 4 gods of the Numeria region. Desna, the goddess of fate and destiny. Eristil, the god of home. Gorum, the god of strength. And Iomade, the goddess of courage. These are the patron gods of the town of Torch. And through them, their blessings through the priest, Mr. Yrsimagor. Many of the townsfolk have their ills and ails cured and questions answered, excuse me. The group of you is gathered here in a small chamber off of the main chapel area. The priest, Yrm, he is tending to Council Member Bane. The council member is lying down, unconscious, upon one of the soft beds in this chamber. And next to him, you have the rope fist, still tied up. You've let the priest look over the body of the council member, Conir Bane. He kind of sighs after trying a long ritual of healing to bring him back. He shrugs, he grunts, he looks back to you. Was there anything down there with him? I can't make heads or tails of his condition. He asks the group of you. He seems puzzled, desperate. He's grasping at straws here. His magic isn't working. How do you run?
Constructs were down there.
How did you find him?
There wasn't easy.
Was suspended in some sort of glass tube with wires and chains coming out of him.
He gestures to the small marks in Councilmember Bain's wrists and chest area where those tubes had been inserted. He just looks confused. I can't heal him with my magic. It resists me. It's as if his body is fine. But I know it. I can see it. He's paralyzed. He's dying. He's got an illness, and he's worsening.
What do you mean he's dying?
He's growing sicker. There's something within him. Some disease. When I look into the beyond the veil, detecting the magic, it seems that, well, you knew Mr. Bain. He was a renowned sorcerer. I look within him and see absolutely no magic within him anymore.
So what you're saying is that he has been depleted of all of his magic?
Yeah, this is what it appears to be. And still there's this rot in him. I cannot cure it.
Oh my! Oh wow! That is not. That's not good at all. Can you? And he's like looking over the bed, like peering over it, like writing down notes furiously. But you had mentioned that you can see what ails him because you said that he is getting worse, but you just cannot get rid of it. Is that right?
I do not see it. I do not. I can tell it is there, like, through my... Well, I've seen many sick people in my times, and he is one of them, but sickness I cannot cure.
Well, there must be some way. There must be some way to do something. Perhaps the answer is back within the technology that we have been looking at before. Surely it has taken away from him. Surely there is something that can give it back, an antidote of some sort.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to go back down there once more. There must be an antidote down there somewhere. A clue, a something, anything that can help him in his condition. I can't do anything for him here, but make sure that he rests peacefully.
You see Veris's like whiskers twitch, which is what he does whenever he's deep in thought and trying to make a decision, as he just wiggles.
Called it a rot. Like a fungus? Like a growth? Is this what you mean, or?
It's not like any of those things, but it feels similar to me. Come look. He kind of like gestures you to come see.
It is visible?
No, listen to his breathing. It's labored. His muscles, they were growing weak and limp. His body is starving from the inside out.
Okay, I agree. We must find this antidote, but I'm afraid to leave him here alone. We were attacked, and they tried to kill him.
Oh, I can ask for a few the guards, perhaps, to stand watch. Attacked by who? Those?
These
He
guys.
kind of gestures to the rope fist you have, kind of
Yes,
bound up and
those.
unconscious.
They said they were working for Garmin.
Carmen, Mr. Ulrith himself. What's going on in this damn town? First the torch, and then our council member here, and then Mr. Ulrith's gone mad. He kind of seems a bit overwhelmed by this.
So, having lived here for a few years, the name of Ulrith, would I know him as something?
You would know Garmin Ulrith as like a an honorary sixth member of the council. He's not officially a council member, but he definitely has enough sway in town to be kind of like treated as such, and like would have a little bit of a political sway. You know that he runs a gambling den, and normally the rope fists are just like a name given to the bouncers and enforcers at this gambling den. So you would know
So-
with a bit more streetwise that he does send rope fists out to collect debts and keep his promises. One might
Right.
say.
But this, though, attacking another council member seems actually like out of line for.
Absolutely, yes.
Perhaps that he needs to go to a place where no one will know that he is there. Somewhere secret. I am very worried that maybe some of the guards may not be so keen on trying to protect Conir Bane.
I can't imagine anyone would try to be violent within a church. It's a sacred place.
Veris just like kind of looks around. Though I can appreciate your proclivities to faith and wanting to trust in that and trusting in the genuineness of other people. I'm afraid, far be it from me from being a little bit skeptical, as I too am quite the optimist, but I do believe that it is most prudent that we do not assume the best intentions of everyone.
You're quite paranoid, little mouse.
Oh well,
Maybe this
Sorry.
is well earned. I don't know what to do at this point. I want Mr. Bane to get well.
Sorry, one correction. I know that you probably didn't mean this to be offensive in any way, but, paranoid, I would not call myself that. I would say reasonable beyond, the assumption of personhood and people's decision-making. And I would say that I am quite a rational individual, and paranoia would suggest the opposite. It is a common mistake among people's vernacular, which I totally understand. But besides the point, is there anywhere, and he's kind of looking around, he's like, churches or temples, they have places, holy places. There are oftentimes areas that are maybe a bit more hidden.
Are you talking about the basement? I live in the basement of this chapel. I don't have any secret places. I don't have any false wardrobes, if that's what you're referring to.
Really? He like scribbles like something down in his notes. That is quite fascinating. I had always assumed that chapels had some kind of hidden entryway and secret tunnels, and it's always what I read about in books. But this is quite interesting, but not helpful to our situation, unfortunately. He looks to Yrsimagor at this point. My large friend, do you have any ideas?
Still trying to comprehend the fact that he lives in the basement of a church. That seems weird. I agree with you that we need somewhere where very few people know that he is. I especially don't think he should be kept in the same room as this piece of trash.
You brought him here. That's
So that we could question
the
him.
thug.
I don't think it's such a good idea to keep him anywhere near Connor Bane. They went to great lengths to try to kill him. When this one awakens, he may also try to continue.
Take him where you wish.
Yes, if we are going to let him go, we should probably not interrogate him in the same place where we are keeping the person who he is trying to kill.
Oh, were we planning to let him go?
You see Veris's ears like kind of flatten a little bit at that, and like he like pales even more.
I mean, I wasn't planning to let him go. Were you, Yrsimagor?
In order to be let go, he'd have to survive the interrogation. And I'm actually going to walk over and... is this Ropefist still unconscious?
He is still unconscious, yeah.
I'm going to throw him over my shoulder. We'll take him elsewhere. Question him. How many people know that you've brought Connor Bane here?
You brought him here.
Sorry. How many people know that we brought him here?
Well, it was broad daylight.
We weren't particularly subtle about our journey here. So I would say anybody who was looking out the windows might have seen us.
Apologies, that's like the last thing on my mind right now.
I have an idea. We need to figure out where we're going to take him. In the meantime, we'll interrogate this guy. At some point, we'll make sure more people see that he's with us. Then, when it gets dark, we can transport Connor Bane elsewhere. And perhaps they will think we're just moving this person. That's the best idea I have.
I'm not willing to leave Mr. Bane's side. I need to attend to him after all, but if you can find some hidden place, I can check up on him day in and day out as the days go by, until you return with whatever antidote you can find, or whatever knowledge you have of his illness. It has to be somewhere safe.
You know this place. Wait, I know this place too, don't I? I'm sort of from here.
Yrsimagor doesn't really know Torch too well.
Not as well
like
as
you are
Daeralei.
of like, yeah. Daeralei would know this place best because you are the Torch local.
Perhaps you should see if you can find some place we can take him.
I think first we should talk to his daughter. Let her know that he is here. She might have some place that she could. And some people she trusts.
Meantime, we should wake this guy up and see if we can get some answers out of him.
Yeah. How about you do that while I go talk to the daughter?
Excellent. Veris can help me interrogate the prisoner.
Oh, no. Yrsimagor, I'm not sure that I don't have the structure or integrity or stomach for that matter to do such a thing. I will take notes, however, and I will leave that to you. You seem quite capable. I will accompany you, of course, but he looks to the rope fist and back to Yrsimagor. For the record, I understand the need for murder. I am not in favor of it. So I will have no hand in it, but I will not stop you.
You know, when Joram suggested you were paranoid, I was inclined to believe what you said about being overly cautious, but you are sounding a bit paranoid right now. Nobody said anything about murder. And all I said was interrogate. You make it sound like we're going to torture him.
Veris, checks his notes again and, looks back at you and well, I believe you know what? Yeah, yes, all right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. No murder will be happening here, and if it does, it is anyway. He pauses again and lead the way.
Does this temple have a graveyard?
Yes, it does. Out in the back. Yeah. We'll say that over here is the graveyard.
We'll
Next
take
to
him
some
out to the.
trees.
We'll take him out to the graveyard. While I don't intend to murder him, I also don't guarantee he's going to survive the interrogation. And I kind of wink at Veris, and then I head outside with the rope fist. My intention is to take him out to one of the monuments or tombstones that is something that he can be tied up to.
So we'll put him next to this rock here then.
Sure.
Which is we'll call that a bunch of tombstones. In the meantime, Daeralei, you are leaving the church and going to go track down Mr. Bain's daughter.
Yes, yeah, I will
Okay.
do that.
So you leave the chapel. And Veris, you're joining Yrsimagor?
Yes, with hand on his heart. He is semi hyperventilating as he follows Yrsimagor.
All right. Yrsimagor, you have the unconscious rope fist tied up in front of you, out in the dirt, in the grasses of the cemetery behind the chapel. You can see that the rope fist himself is groggy, not fully conscious, but slowly coming to.
Step one is to get a bucket of water.
Mhm.
And take that bucket of water and immediately, wherever I go to get the bucket of water, without any pretense, I come walking past Veris, walk right up to this rope fist, and throw this bucket of water in his face. Wake up!
He coughs up the water from drowning, basically. He struggles to move against the bindings. He tries to grab at his face to wipe off the water and get out of his eyes, but he can't because he's tied up. He coughs up and spits up some more water, hanging limply from his bondage. Let me go! Let me go!
Shut
Please.
up.
He recognizes the gravelly voice, and becomes very silent.
I want you to only speak when I ask you questions. Answer truthfully. This will go much better for you. Who sent you?
He looks up. He's able to open his eyes now as the water runs down them. He gives a smirk. You know who I work for.
Why were you sent?
He looks around. He's trying to nudge at his bindings. He's seeing where he can escape to, where you're not looking. He looks up at you. Boss wants Conir dead. I'm not paid to think about it.
Why does he want him dead?
I don't know. It's above me. Not paid to give a shit.
You never just happened to overhear the conversations? Just happened to be in the right place at the right time?
Boss man gives me my orders.
You just blindly follow them.
Follow the coin, buddy. Not some dog like Danik was.
At that mention, I've already been sort of circling around where he's sort of tied up and seeing him sort of struggle against his restraints a little bit. I'm now standing behind him. At the mention of Danik, I reach down and I don't threaten him. I don't warn him either. I reach down and I break 2 of his fingers. Stop trying to escape. There's no coin here to follow.
I hate to barge in. You're doing such a great job. Might I try something first? You see, Veris just blurt out, and then he's like,
Yrsimagor, can you make me an insight or a medicine roll, please?
Sure.
From the process of breaking the rope fist's fingers.
Sure, let's see. Insight or medicine, you say?
Yes.
They're both the same. Do an insight check. That's going to be a 16.
You've broken people's fingers and bones before. So you know what it's like to feel their crunch, how easy they are to snap like twigs. This rope fist, his fingers were much tougher than the knuckle and hand bones of a man of his size. There's something reinforcing his hands on the inside. He's just built tougher, it seems. But you were still able to snap them, no problem. Just in an intriguing amount of resistance, and more strength required than you're used to.
Yrsimagor, you see that Veris is looking up at you rather insistently.
I will... Before I let go of where I've broken his fingers, I will just give a little extra tug, and making sure the ropes are indeed tight. Answer his questions truthfully too, and I will step aside and let you do whatever you're going to do with this.
Hello, I'm Veris. I don't think we've gotten a chance to be properly introduced. I am not so sorry about my friend breaking your fingers, as you are being a little bit of a shit right now. So I will, excuse me, sorry, as he's like...
What do you want, rat?
He's taking off his, bag, and he puts it down. He's, rummaging through, and he's like, I understand the comment was meant to hurt, but it is accurate, so I don't understand what you're supposed to, or what you're wanting to... sorry, I am distracted right now. I'm looking into... Just give me a moment, he says, as he's, like, taking out all of these different, like, vials and little jars full of these, like, this strange liquid, and he takes this what looks to be this wire, like almost like this weird like, it looks like a wire, but upon closer look you see that it's actually a bunch of very dark thin pieces of wood that have been kind of braided together, and he like dips them slowly into these different concoctions, and he goes up to the man, the rope fist, and he kind of scrabbles up on him and is like sitting on his shoulder.
Get off! Get your pet off!
As he like takes this piece of bramble and wraps it around the guy's head.
What are you doing?
And he gets back off, and he turns to Yrsimagor. He's like, now, I haven't actually tried this before, so I'm not totally sure if it works, but I've done quite a bit of research on it, so I'm 75% confident that this will work, and if it doesn't work, then no harm, no foul, you can continue breaking fingers. But, and he looks to the man, and he says, now, I would like you to tell myself and my friend what you know about what's been going on, and why your the person who hired you, why your boss wants you to kill Conjuring. And he looks, please, and he's casting Crown of Madness to be charmed.
Right. To be charmed. Okay, so
Yeah.
what does that do?
So it has to make a wisdom saving throw or become charmed by me for the duration.
What else is it? It just charms them?
Yeah, it becomes charmed. Now I know it's like a kind of a stretch of the definition, and I wonder if you will let that...
The charmed target must use its action before moving on each of its turn to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself they mentally choose. Target can act normally on its turn if no... Okay. Interesting. I was like, This will like drive him to be violent, this spell.
I mean, he is already violent, but I assumed I actually didn't look at this. Is the charmed, is that like a condition, or is
Charmed is a condition. I can look it up to see if it gives any other benefits.
Charmer,
But otherwise it means they can't attack you.
the charmer has advantage on any ability checks to interact socially with the creature.
Okay.
And
so
you
it'll
can't-
give advantage?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can tell that your magic is kind of causing him to like just completely focus on, I imagine almost like becoming like more like fight or flight. He's focusing less on the game, the social like positioning and posturing, to become like more just like more mad, more instinctual. He's now like he'll do anything he can to get free, including giving you what you want. But you can see him like gnashing at the at the cables and ropes around him more to get free. He's not able to make any attacks, but he's definitely growing more violent, but
if Veris doesn't choose a target,
more weak to you.
then he doesn't have to try to attack anyone either.
Yeah. So I feel like he's going to be like attacking his bonds, basically.
Yeah.
Unsuccessfully.
Yeah. Is he going to make a wisdom saving throw, or?
That's a good question. I forgot about that part. He got a total of 20 on the wisdom save.
How much to make you reroll?
Was it 2 or 3? I can't remember.
You're noting.
I'm thinking because it was. Honestly, I don't remember how we did it on here, but I think it was 1.
1 for a player, 3 for the DM, right?
It's 3 or 5. The what's in the chat right now is wrong because that's set up for Pathfinder. I forgot to revert it to the D&D, and I got to look up what the D&D ones were. It's I guess right now it's your call. It's 2 or 3.
Let's call it 3.
Okay.
Because I'd rather have
It's
you
supposed
use
to be
your domain
costly
relics.
to make the GM reroll.
Yeah. So we're gonna reroll
Okay.
to get a 14 total.
Ooh. That's just the DC.
So he passes still.
Yeah. Yeah.
He shrugs off
Good try.
your crown of madness. He resists your enchantment. What are you trying to do to me, rat? My brain felt like it wasn't mine for a second there.
Well, like I said, I was only about 75% sure that this was going to be effective. So, well, you win some, you lose some. You may go back to the finger breaking and the what was it? What else were you describing? Potential organ removal. I believe there are very, very many organs in the body that do not need to be used. Maybe some teeth as well.
Can I get a an intimidation roll from you?
Okay.
Can I help as I say?
Yeah.
As I say, I've heard you can live without your spleen.
Give me an intimidation. With advantage from Yrsimagor's help.
Yeah, Veris is like, yeah, I've heard that as well, and I was trying to save you from permanent damage, but I suppose that we'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way then, shall we? I got a 25.
Okay, he is. You see that he's starting to piss himself a little bit, realizing that what he's in for. He's like no. I'll tell you anything you want. I'll tell you. Don't do any of that bullshit to me. He kind of still grunts from his fingers. He looks up to you, a bit more pleading now, Yrsimagor, than resistant and cocky like he was before. He sees that you both mean business. You're willing to break his fingers, mess with his mind. Like nothing he has has any sanctity anymore. You see that he's much more complacent now.
You're going to be more cooperative then.
What do you want? Just let me go. Tell me what you want. I'll tell you.
I want to know why they want Conjuring dead. Why is it so important that all of you?
I don't know. I don't know. We were tasked with finishing the job that Danik couldn't do.
That's the second time you've mentioned Danik. Why do you keep bringing his name up?
Well,
at this point, I've grabbed two more fingers. I haven't broken them, but I've grabbed two more fingers.
Pet. He's his hound. Listen, you were with him, and he died. We know he's dead.
You're saying Danik worked for Carmen?
Yeah, he was one of us. Oh, you didn't know. He's planning on getting close to you and double cross you at the end.
Well, I guess we won't have to worry about that. What other pets does Garmin have?
It's just Danik. Oh, there were a few others, but they didn't make it. A few of us.
So beyond cleanup for what Danik failed to do, you don't know why Garmin wants.
I don't know.
being
I
dead.
assume it's some politicking bullshit or something. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Who besides Garmin would know?
Listen, that man has connections that I don't even know of. My best guess. Council member Conyer Bane vanishes. Garmin wants the seat. I don't know what to tell you.
Veris, do you have any other questions?
He's been writing. You said the others didn't survive. Why is that?
Bossman picked the best of us. There are 3. Danik, Ori, and his own fucking son. Took him aside. Didn't see him for 4 days straight. Peeped in through the peephole. He's hooking them up to some kind of potions or something. Remade their bodies from the inside out. Danik lived. The others died. We had to bury their fucking bodies, by the way.
Fascinating. Pump them through full of.
Potions or something. I don't know. One day, boss man got his hands on a bunch of these weird potions. He fed us them to us all, and more so to those 3. But yeah, I'm souped up on those. Makes me nice and strong.
What did it look like? What did the liquids? What did they look like? What did they smell like? How did she give them to you?
They drank them. They were small. They tasted. They didn't taste like anything. It wasn't like water. It was like I've never had something like that before. Kind of made me feel tingly inside for a bit, and then just got stronger. Gave me awful nightmares, though.
Nightmares? What
Yeah.
kind of nightmares?
I don't know. It's just this fucking demon haunting in my sleep now.
Demon? He says, like
Yeah, you
after
know,
a pause.
pointy horns, red skin.
Right, of course. Yes, a demon. He's writing, continuing to scribble in this notebook. And does this happen to you every night?
Yeah. Yeah, fucking Hellion gives me a visit every fucking night.
Scribble, scribble, scribble.
And I think Yrsimagor might recognize the name Hellion.
Hold on a second. I literally have something in my eye right now. I'm not fighting back tears. Yeah, that name is ringing a bell. Let's see. Do I know that name? Oh, wait. There we go. Hold on. All right, so yeah. At the mention of Elyon. I imagine while Veris has been interrogating him, I've just sort of been leaning off to the side, arms crossed, close enough, within arm's reach so that I can hit him if I need to. And at the mention of Halion, I just suddenly snap upright and move so quickly that I suddenly have his jaw, like I'm holding his face like this, squeezing tight enough that if I wanted to, I could probably shatter his jaw. What do you know of Halion?
My fucking sleep demon?
Tell me
I
more.
barely remember anything. Just an ugly face. That's it. I don't know. He tells me stuff I never remember in the morning. Scary shit. Wish he'd just fucking go away.
He only comes to you in your sleep.
Yeah. I swear. I swear. As he feels like your hand clenching on his jaw. Just I don't know why my dreams are so important.
Sorry, I was dealing with a technical issue when you first started leading into the Hellion stuff. Did you mention something about him having to drink some concoction?
Yeah. So Ropefist had been describing how he was kind of like force-fed these strange potions by his boss, Garmin Ulrith. Most of the Ropefists got a small dose, but there were 3 people that got a larger dose, Danik being one of them, and Danik was the only survivor of the larger infusion of these magical potions. The Ropefist said that he got stronger after drinking these potions and these nasty nightmares.
With that latest bit of information, I just sort of I loosen my grip on his jaw and loosely just kind of almost push his face away. As I step back, I turn away from him. Veris, you would see a look of anger, but also concern. Like, as I turn around, still looking angry as I always do, there's this look of, I'm not looking at you, I'm just sort of looking back and forth like somebody who's trying to figure something out.
Do you know where your boss keeps these? And if he has any more?
I really shouldn't be telling you this, but it's all stashed up in his warehouse.
Mm.
It's the abandoned one. Well, it's not abandoned. We make it pretend to look like it's abandoned. Down the street from the bakery. Like it's got the windows all boarded up.
Yes, I do believe I know the place.
Well, there, it's it's our hideout, our headquarters. That's where he keeps all of his business dealings and all the merchandise he's acquired over the years.
I assume that a place like this would be heavily guarded, yes?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about how it's guarded.
Place is crawling with us.
How many?
4 when it's chill, and well, if sometimes Garmin gets a little bit Bossman gets a bit paranoid sometimes. He'll make us all pull shifts, all-nighters. We could have up to 20 of them, 20 of us watching that warehouse, but never had anything happen to that place. It's hidden. No one No one thinks to check.
Well, yes, that is quite clever. Though I mean, a little contrived. But you. Okay, all right. You said that he gets paranoid, but are there any regularities to this paranoia, or it just happens?
I just do what the boss says. Sometimes I'm belligerent about it. Please. I don't know much about him, I'm sorry. He pays me in gold, that's it.
Veris nods, looks back to Yrsimagor. Well, I believe that is all that all the questions that I had.
Sounds like we're done here. You can go back inside, Veris.
Veris pauses for a second. You can see that his whiskers are twitching and his ears are kind of darting nervously around as he looks from Yrsimagor to the rope fist and back again, and just nods, looks to the rope fist as if he's going to say something, and you can see that he almost like raises his hand as in like a farewell, but he kind of like stops himself from doing so, and he's just going to go inside.
The whole time Veris is doing this and is turning to walk away, I'm maintaining eye contact with the rope fist, listening for the door to close as Veris goes back inside. I'm going to walk up to the rope fist.
I told you what you needed to know.
You did.
Just let me go, please.
I'm going to let you go. You need not fear Hellion anymore. And I'm going to snap his neck.
The crunch of his spine, his neck, is a satisfying pop in your hands. He scrambles trying to resist it when you first lay your hands on his head. He grows still now. After the deed is done, he hangs limp, at peace now, from the ropes that tie him to this tombstone. He is dead.
Once he's dead, I will untie him. Just so that he's not shackled to somebody else's tombstone. And we don't need to play this out, but I'll figure out from the dude inside where best can I dispose of this body, and I will, if I have to bury it in the woods, whatever, I'll take care of him.
Okay. We pan on over to Daeralei. You have taken a stroll across town to do your own task. You've walked up to the Foundry Tavern, which is now it's closed. It's not open for business these days. Not since Mr. Council Member Conir Bain had gone missing. You go up, and a young blonde-haired, woman answers the door. This is the daughter, Val Bain. She seems hesitant at first, sees your face and recognizes you. Oh, come in. Please. Do any tea? Make yourself at home.
That's fine. You
The others, are they fine? She notes that you're by yourself here.
please sit. I have news.
She stops fidgeting around to try to find the kettle and some mugs. And she looks at you, realizing the gravity of what you're about to say. She goes pale. Please, no. Don't tell me. Don't tell me that.
But I must tell you.
She's anticipating the worst. What do you say?
I have good news, I have bad news, and I have worse news. Which would you like to hear first?
The good news, please.
We found your father
Oh God.
and brought him back here.
She begins to cry.
Oh, I thought that was going to be good news.
And she kind of like tries to mumble out, like, to between her tears. She asks you, "What's the bad news?"
He's hurt, and the priest is having trouble healing him.
He's alive?
Yes.
And her face shifts from grief and anguish to hope. He's alive. Where is he? Where's my father? Where is he?
He's currently at the chapel with the priest who's trying to heal him
Come on.
and not doing well. I have worse news.
She like begins to like rummage around to find her coat, find her satchel, and she begins slipping on her shoes.
Val.
And she pauses when you say her name.
As we were bringing him back into town, to the chapel to get healed, we were attacked. Garmin, what's his name? Ulrith wants him dead.
Well,
so
that can't be right.
It is very right. I am not lying to you here. And I'm telling you this because it is very important that we keep Konir's whereabouts secret so that they cannot hurt him. Is there anyone you trust? Is there any place you know that would be safe for Konir?
There's a secret cellar here in his workshop. He showed me it when I was younger. Told me that if the Technic League were to come to hide in here, it's not much, but it's a bit of a bunker.
Then I think once it is dark, we bring him here secretly. And you need to find some people to guard this place. People that won't be, I guess, suspicious. That that people will look here and say, oh my goodness, there must be something hiding in there because there's all these bodies. No, you know what I mean? Like, it must look like he's not back.
It's just been me here at his house. At our house. I'll think about it. But can we go see him? Please. She kind of like she's like gripping nervously at the hem of her coat.
Yes, I may have an idea, but I will let you know once we get back with the rest. Come now, let's go.
And with that, all of you converge once more in the chapel. Yrsimagor, you've disposed of this body. Veris, you're here now in the room. And in comes Daeralei, joined with a young Valerie, her name, who comes along with her.
I may have an idea about what we could do. To potentially save Connor's life. At least from Garmin. Val, please contain yourself when I say this, but people know he's back. People have seen us come in. What if we just spread the word that he died here at the priest's capable hands? There was nothing the priest could do, and he passed away. That should put Garmin off trying to kill him if he already thinks he's dead.
Won't that just make Garmin make his play?
Well, then we'd know what his play is.
I do very much like that idea. Use the word of the populace to our advantage. It's a very, very strong strategy, I think.
Plus, now we are all aware that Garmin's got something up his sleeves. Valerie now knows as well, and with that knowledge means that whatever Garmin does next won't be completely unknown. We will be expecting it. Meanwhile, Conir still lives, and we can try to hopefully bring him back, heal him.
You see that Val is on her knees, like hugging her dad, her unconscious, comatose father, but she's crying into his chest. I'm so glad you're alive. And she doesn't seem to be paying too much attention to what you're talking about. Yoram steps forward, the priest. You found a place to keep him safe. Have you?
Yes, and the less people that know about it is probably wise. But if you are to tend to his wounds, to keep him alive, then I guess you are one of the ones that need to know. Val has a place in her house.
She wipes down a tear. There's a hidden bunker below my father's workshop. It's a secret place. There's enough for him to be down there. There's a bed, there's materials, tools, supplies, whatever you might need. That might be down there. I can keep watch from the foundry itself and from the home. Make sure no one comes snooping. He left me with this. Something to defend myself with. I'm going to defend him with it. And she produces what looks to be like some kind of strange hand crossbow if it were made of Skymetal. To the modern audience, this is some kind of laser pistol. But to our characters' perspectives, it's just some strange contraption, almost like this wand made of Skymetal with a handle. It seems to be dormant. She kind of like gestures to it. She's not like brandishing it or anything. She just kind of just like reveals it from under her coat. My father called it an inferno pistol. I haven't fired it once as a kid. I know how to use it. If any more of Garmin's men will come looking, I'll produce them the ash. She seems a bit more stoic now, more resolved. She has something she can do, a way that she can help. She seems proud of that, capable now that she has hope once more that her father is alive.
Who do you trust, Val? On the council, do you trust any of them?
They've all been good friends of my father's. They've always had his back whenever he's needed them, and in return, he's helped them when they've needed him. They're a good lot. I know that. Now that I think of it, Ulrith and my father did not get along at the best of times, but I would not think that an assassination was in the question. Is this what they did to him? She kind of like gestures to the state, the condition of her father.
No. They did not really hide the assassination attempt either. They did it in broad daylight, in the middle of the street.
Sounds like some act of desperation then, rather than some kind of coordinated attack. He really wants my father dead.
Yes. And we should let him believe he succeeded. And then tonight, when it is dark, we secure him away. We get your dad to safety.
Now that we don't have the torch anymore, the funeral processes here, Yrm begins to say, are a bit different than they used to be. Normally we'd... Well, you know this, Daeralei, you've been here. Well, not as long as my family, but we'd burn the bodies upon the pyre. It was a good way to let people go. But we don't have that anymore.
Fortunate, because we do not want to burn Konir. Oh, where's the looks to Yrsimagor.
Where's the rope fist?
We need
There's
a
an
body.
odd
To,
lack of rope fist.
we need a body to burn. I know where one can be found.
Perfect. Yrm, can you make that happen?
May host a funeral for our council member?
Yes.
I don't know if I could lie like that, but it's for his protection, right?
It's for his protection.
I've never done a funeral for a living man before. He kind of like wrings his hands nervously. I can see to it, yes. Like, shall I tell the other council members of the plan? Or... 'cause they won't want to have the funeral because they have a scroll of raised dead stashed away for him, which I was thinking about using it, but myself, but he's not a dead man.
Holds this scroll.
It's within a lockbox, along with the other treasures the council holds.
Is there one person on the council in particular that would release this? Or do they do it all together?
We act as a council. We'd vote on it. It would be unanimous.
Is Yrm on the council?
He is, yes.
Okay.
Can the council be convinced that Connor Bain was beyond the help of a raised dead spell?
Maybe whatever is actually killing him, you could use that as the reason why he can't come back.
Don't know
Your
much
magics don't work.
I don't know much about necromancy, but if
I would
somebody doesn't
imagine they
have a
would want to
head-
at least try Can we say that there wasn't a body that you could recover?
What are you gonna burn?
And
In
people
an
literally
effigy,
saw us bring him back.
Mm.
We carried him through town.
All this conniving makes my head hurt. Yrm says he massages his temples.
We need to keep in mind that the
Raising
more
of the dead requires the body to be intact. I've done it before, and something even as small as a missing toe can make the spell all botched.
So, in the attack, Garmin's men tried to kill him and succeeded, and in so doing, they managed to destroy a part of his body. Hence, the raised dead will not work.
They chopped off a hand, perhaps?
Maybe they stole it. They could have taken it. They know about the raised dead scroll, no?
Mm. It's not a secret well guarded.
Yes,
They
they
must.
chopped off a hand. And Daeralei would look at Yrsimagor very pointedly.
Are you looking at your
Veris
Yrsimagor,
looks
or are
sick.
you looking at Jake? Because
No,
that feels very pointed.
I'm,
Hashtag
I'm
hand
looking
stuff.
at Jake,
I saw what you were
but
doing.
Daeralei is also looking at Yrsimagor because Yrsimagor knows where the body is.
Yeah,
Of course, it's a hand.
of course it is.
Has to be a hand.
Even
I mean, just bring
even when I'm
fingers.
not the one that causes it, I'm still somehow involved. Hashtag hand stuff. Yeah, I got you. We just need to make sure that as few people as possible know what we're up to. More people that know of a secret, the less secret it is.
And the more his life is actually in danger.
There's only the 6 of us in this room that know about our plan at this moment.
And we need to keep it that way. Until we can cure him for good, from what ails him.
Then we
Very well.
have a plan then.
I'll bring the news to the rest of the council of Mr. Payne's passing.
We'll go retrieve the body that I took care of and make sure that it returns minus one hand. So that Yrm has what he needs for the funeral. At some point, I would like to, after getting back, just mention to the others, not to Val or Yrm, but to Daeralei, Zaari, and Veris. We need to talk about something else that could be a problem. Not.
Yes?
And I would have waited until we're in a different room or something. I don't want to be around Yrm and Val. That Rotefist mentioned Helion. Called it a sleep demon. That Garmin was feeding some kind of concoction. The ones that were chosen to go after Connor Bane. Now, there's more to this. Because Daeralei, apparently, Danik was one of the ones working for Garmin. He just didn't get a chance to undermine us yet. But that's not what I'm concerned about. If Garmin is working with or for Helion, there is something much greater at stake here. Helion Hellion is a demon that I once refused to serve. I was offered to be a Lord of Rust, in command of armies, if I would serve Hellion. But I refused. My sister did not. I want to go to this warehouse. While the funeral subterfuge is taking place, I want to go to the warehouse and look for this concoction or anything else related to this Hellion. We need to find out what his involvement is. But we also keep an eye on Garmin. This is more than some crime lord trying to move in and take control of the town.
Does Veris know Hellion? Or no?
So you said that you were following in Yrsimagor's footsteps, right? Trying to track him down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you were from Scrapwall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you would also, do you know how long ago you left Scrapwall? Like, was it a long time ago or recently?
Recently.
Okay. You would know about the Lords of Rust, about the Hellion demon that is their master. It's a cult of Hellion. That they this cult kind of took over the leadership of the numerous gangs that operated out of Scrapwall, and have kind of like claimed dominion over that scrappy town.
Okay. So then, yeah, Veris. That is quite. That is a quite concerning fact indeed that we have to deal with the Hellion. Not such great terms that I left. For that place, you know, my shop. It was destroyed, which was maybe not the biggest reason that I left, but it was definitely something that very much dictated my decision to leave. This Danik, was that person that well, when we first met, he says. Fascinating, interesting. Well, it looks like you were getting a little bit too far, discovering maybe a little bit too much. This Garmin decided to stop you. Oh, and you can see, like Veris is getting like a little excited. His tail is twitching.
You know, it's rather convenient that you show up and ask, no, rather plead, beg to join our party, just as Danik is dead.
How well did I know? How well did I know Veris? Or was this like somebody that shadowed me that I didn't know about?
You would have known Veris. He owned a shop in Scrapwall. Is that what it? Yeah, in Scrapwell, he owned a shop that sold like a lot of odds and ends and trinkets and, you know, various bits and bobs from his adventures that he had. And he was there for years, so. But I mean, you haven't seen him for a while, and he is from Scrapwall, so Yeah, Veris looks to Daeralei and that is quite a logical assumption to make. I absolutely understand and am in no way offended by your suspicion. I would also be very suspicious of myself as well if I did not know my true intentions, which I assure you are quite genuine and full of simply academia and the wish to want to know more about the underground dwellings and the architecture that's there. Any form of subterfuge or social cunnings is really not my style. People say that they wouldn't trust me with a secret. I can't imagine why, but I assure you that that I am loyal to the end, he says.
But loyal to who?
Oh, to the pursuit of knowledge and to good deeds and trust to and to my friends, of course. So now that also might have sounded quite suspicious of me to say. I regretted that was the last part that I said, and that the pursuit of knowledge was my first goal, which might seem a little bit antisocial of me, which I was not meaning to come across as at all. So I do apologize. I am very excited to go through this. The subterfuge of the game of the social. Jabs and taunts and ripostes, he says, as he's like kind of mimicking fencing that's happening. He's like, I'm quite a fan of seeing it. I've never had the chance to observe it. So all of this backstabbing and doublespeak, and it is really quite exciting.
You say many words without actually saying a lot.
Thank you.
It was not a compliment. I am watching you. And in using my awakened mind, I will say, so just Veris can hear me, mind to mind. If you step out of line, I will end you. One traitor was enough.
You see Veris like kind of shrink a little bit, like his ears kind of flatten against his head and his whiskers kind of droop, but he nods.
And then to everyone, all right then. Let us put this plan in order. Yrsimagor, I do not know what this Hellion is. This is the first I'm hearing of it. So, that will fall to you in finding the answers.
Hellion is a demon. Unless you like demons, suffice it to say, this is not a good thing.
No, but I know nothing of this demon, so.
Consider yourself lucky.
To be fair, I didn't know much about it myself. It was just more what happened as a result of the influence that happened, which was not good.
I will. I guess I will make it clear that I'm going to start doing, making preparations to, My plan is to be at the funeral when it starts and use that as under the cover of night to slip away to get to this warehouse. And I guess I want to know if Veris is coming with or if Veris is staying here.
Yeah, Veris will come with Yrsimagor, absolutely.
And then I guess that'll be a question for Zaari when that actual action takes place. Zaari's going to accompany him.
Yeah, and Daeralei would have to probably be very present at the funeral, seeing as Conjuring was very much their good friend, and it would seem out of place if she was to disappear.
We'll have Zaari then helping Val and Yrm like hide the body away then in the bunker, and then we'll have Daeralei at the funeral, and then it'll be Yrsimagor and Veris attending the funeral at first, but then try to scope out the warehouse. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We will then fast forward to this evening. You may all take a short rest in the meantime, as we have a little bit of a time skip.
Short rest
We're in the
is
center.
half
Oh, go ahead.
half of the hit points.
Half your hit point max you get back. Yeah. It's like the little Baldur's Gate 3 button you press. The three of you are attending the funeral that the priest Yrm has set up here at the top of the hill of Torch. You are high up. This is Torch's highest point. There was a great crater in the ground where the bonfire of Torch once blazed, but now it is empty. The stars glimmer overhead. It is a clear sky this nighttime. They dance in their constellations, weeping for the passing of council member Conir Bane. What remains of the town of Torch is attending this funeral. There's fewer people attending this than would have probably in the town's heyday. You notice how sparse the population of Torch now is. So many people leaving for greener pastures now that the town of Torch is dying. You see Yrm upon an altar that, like a pedestal that he's wheeled up next to the now dormant pyre of Torch. He begins his speech that falls on mournful, solemn, a mournful, solemn audience that includes the rest of the council. He speaks words of praise of council member Conir Bane's doing, the things he's done for the town, gave them clean water, gave them cures to illnesses, helped them with their magical needs, even helping stave off a wyvern attack. Yrm chuckles. Seems that Councilmember Conir Bane was both a scholar and a fighter, a warrior of magic. And he speaks of how tragic his passing is, and how the town of Torch will always remember him.
While this is going on, Daeralei is very much interested in gauging the reactions of the other council members and other prominent figures of the town for their reaction to to his death, to this funeral. Like, are they Are they upset or are they faking the upset? That kind of thing. Trying to suss
Gotcha,
out
yeah.
who might be with Garmin.
There are 3 other members of the council. You've met one of them personally. I guess by you I mean the party. Oh yeah, it would have been you. Yeah. It is the staunch, powerful, stoic dwarf woman, Dolga Fredert, who was the one that issued out the bounty of rescuing council member Conir Bane way back in those days before. You would also recognize the 2 others. You know of a Cecile Murgrave, as well as a Buzz Lindy, the 2 others, along with Yoram as the 4th one, and Conir Bane is the 5th. Those are the 5 members of the council. Give me 3 insight rolls, please.
And did Garmin show up to this funeral? Just as a note.
He did.
Okay, so first insight was 19.
Mhm.
Next one was 11. And the last one was 13.
You notice that Dolga is sorrowful. Her face doesn't show it, but you can tell that she is an old woman, even more so because she is a dwarf rather than a man. She's seen many people die in her long, long lifetime of almost 2 centuries now. And she seems to be taking the loss of Conir very hardly. She's trying her best to dissociate away from this death, but like she's done all those countless other times when she's seen so many others pass before her. But she's having a hard time holding it together in memory of Mr. Bane. You're not sure of how to get a read on the merchant Bezlundi. He's always been hard to read. His feelings are never on his sleeve. He usually has a very boastish personality, very flamboyant and outgoing personality that seems to be a very good mask at hiding his true intentions. He's standing there comforting the 3rd council member that you see, the Cecile Murgrave. He is from a long line of other nobles that have been from Torch ever since its founding. He owns that pedigree. He seems to be grimacing from something, not from anything you can tell from happening, but a splitting headache. He's having a hard time focusing on the whole ordeals being happening right now as he's nursing a headache. You look over to see Garmin Ulrith, who, after watching and paying attention solemnly to the funeral procession, looks to you, and you can see one of his eyes glowing, staring directly at you, Daeralei. He has a smirk on his face, a look of familiarity, as if he's trying to pretend to be a friend to you, which somehow is even more insidious, knowing what he just tried to do the day before.
I just give him a cold stare back before I look back to the priest, Yoram.
You've seen only one other eye glow like Garmin's before. The Technic League agent in town, Sanville Tret, who also had the same mechanical glowing eye like Garmin has. You look to your companions, Yrsimagor and Veris. This is the time for them to leave, according to the plan, to go sneak out. a few moments to talk between each other here.
I think, again, without using words, I would tell Yrsimagor first about Garmin's glowing eye and the fact that the Technic League is the only other place I saw it. Is Zaari here? Or she has disappeared? And
Zaari is with Val and Yoram. Oh no, sorry, with Val, because Yoram's up on the stage. Zaari is with Val, moving the body to the bunker below the foundry workshop, using the funeral as a distraction, so that no one will see them.
I would just let Yrsimagor know that at this point in time. What he chooses to do with that knowledge, I'll let him choose.
Does the Technic League mean anything to me?
That was the man that you all met with.
The robots.
With the robots up in that tavern. The Technic League as a concept, you don't know too much about, other than it's like a boogeyman that's been on the whispers of everyone in the town of Torch. You would know that the Technic League is the government body of the region. Their headquarters are in Starfall, a massive palace city that's built into the side of a mountain northwest of here. But they have very little jurisdiction over the town of Torch. But you wouldn't, and also would have no jurisdiction in the town of Scrapwall.
Not that I care about things like jurisdiction, but in the scope of what I'm worried about, it sounds like Technic League is way down low on the priority list of things to worry about, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah. You do know that Zaari has a bit of a history with the Technic League. She reacted very poorly last time they were mentioned.
And they wanted to get us to do some of their work for them or something. They wanted to steal. They gave us the card. Danik made the deal, so I don't care anymore.
I'll leave that to Zaari. So I think, kind of just give Veris a little nudge and start to very quietly move out of any sources of light back into the darkness and begin to stealthily make our way across town through these warehouses.
I will get the both of you to make stealth rolls, please, with advantage because of the cover of night and the distraction of the funeral.
Got a 19.
All right, both of you skulk away under cover of night. And I have a question for all of you players. Is Owlbear Rodeo working for you? Or is it like just glitching out?
What I see is what I assume is a warehouse covered in fog of war.
Okay. I'm getting a perpetual loading screen on Owlbear Rodeo. Interesting. It's not loading for me.
It works for me.
That's insane. Okay.
Yeah,
I will try refreshing my browser or opening it or something. You come up here to the warehouse that was described by the rope fist that you dispatched and interrogated earlier. It is quiet. It seems to be empty at first, though it's hard to really tell because the windows and the doors are boarded up to this place. You've passed by this warehouse probably like 2-3 dozen times in your adventures here, within and without Torch. But now you see it. It stands before you, almost making no real. It never calls attention to itself. It stands there almost enigmatically. I wondered how you've missed this place all those times. It's just the two of you, hidden stealthily What do you want? What's it like for the two of you here?
All right, Yrsimagor, how are we going to approach this? Are we going to both go in through the side? Maybe there's a window up that I could scurry into.
Yes, we need to find a way in. If that means letting you in through some smaller entrance to where you can unlock a door, fine. I normally favor going in the front door, ready to knock some heads together, but I don't think that'll actually work here, so...
No, I don't think that is prudent at all, considering that there could be anywhere from 4 to 20. What did he say? Highly changed, highly modified individuals. So Veris is, as he's talking, he's looking up at this warehouse to try and see if there's any small entrance that looks like he could fit through.
You know that there, you can see that the windows of this warehouse, they are all boarded up. They are nailed shut. There is a main set of doors right here that is also boarded up. But there's all these windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that you can see from this side. And I imagine the two of you kind of scoped out like around the exterior of the building just to get a full sense of what it looks like. And those are the only windows that seem accessible at all. At its tallest, it's about 2 stories tall, this warehouse. So it's quite a big building.
Question is, are the windows boarded up, actually, or are they just made to look that? There's got to be some way that they're getting in and out with ease, if it's meant to look abandoned. I'm gonna, as I say that, I'm gonna go up to the windows next to the door and try to look through the boards that are covering the windows, see if I can see anything inside.
You peer in. You try to like push your head in a way to be able to peer through the gaps in the boards. You see that it's dark. Give me a perception roll, please.
Just checking to see, because I can never remember if orcs have dark vision.
They do have dark vision.
So, perception check, you say?
Yes.
Try that. It's a 10.
It seems to be pitch black in there. There's no sign of anyone in there. No sign of anything really. And that's what puzzles you. You don't see any kind of like outline of walls or anything that your dark vision would probably show you. You realize that there's a black cloth, black curtain hung on the other side of the window to give the semblance of complete pitch darkness.
Let's try the front door. Just see if it's locked.
You think that is the best option?
No.
Right. Okay. Veris
It's not the best
is
option,
going
but
to...
unless you can find a better way in. I would like to clarify something too, just for the sake of making sure we aren't necessarily overheard. Assume we're speaking in lowered tones. I don't want to do the whisper thing because I know it's hard for the mics to pick it up.
Yeah. Veris is actually gonna. So sorry, these windows that are boarded up, they're at ground level, or are they up further, up higher?
These are all ground level.
Okay. Is there anything like? Is there a second level, or is it all just ground?
You notice that the back of the building, on the other side of where you are, over up here, is where the second story is. It's kind of like it's not like a perfectly like barn shaped building. It's kind of like this section is like lower, like one story, and then there's like a second story built up here.
Maybe if we could get up onto the roof, there might be something. You see Veris like hoist up his arms. He's like, toss me up there.
Before I just blindly throw Veris, does it look like there's a lower roof or something that I could actually lift him up
Yep.
to reach? Okay.
Yep.
Then I will reach down, pick up Veris, and just kind of. I imagine being able to do, if you've ever done this with a small child, where you can kind of grab a hold of their legs and lift them up, not just like around the waist or whatever. You can kind of grab their legs and stabilize them to get a little extra height, and I will lift you up until you can reach something to grab hold of.
Yeah, and Veris will try to reach up to that first level.
I wish I could put you on top of the fog of war instead of under it. You go on top of the roof, and you can. It seems to hold your weight just fine, and you're able to pitter patter wherever you wish. If I draw, does it go on top of the?
There's not a layers.
Doesn't. Nah. Ooh, I
Oh.
wonder if I can get it to be. If I get the layer to be above. Let's see. Layer text. Does text show up above fog? It does not. Dang it. Okay. I'm unable to draw without exposing what's inside the building. I'll use my pointer. The second story of the warehouse begins at about this point. This point. Here we go.
Yeah.
It
Are
goes
there
around
any
like this.
Are there any holes or anything like that?
The warehouse is in pretty poor shape, and I will say that you are probably able to find holes that are small enough to peek through for sure.
Yeah, he's gonna peek.
Okay. You look down, and you're able to see, peeking through a hole, a staircase, and another rope fist leaning with his back against the wall at the top of the stairs. He's like fiddling with some smoking pipe as he's idling nonchalantly. You can see that the ground is stashed. There's a bunch of crates stashed about through this warehouse. The floor seems like decently well cleaned. Like it's not like dusty or anything. This place is well inhabited. Sorry, what were you asking?
Yeah. Are there any other holes that he can look through on the roof?
Yeah, you scamper about and you climb way over here. You can see there's another section of the roof that's missing that you can peek down under, and you see two more rope fists. They're having a conversation. They're a bit too far down to be able to hear, what they're talking about, but they're you can tell that they're talking kind of fearfully, concernedly about how some of them have died recently, and about they don't want to be next. Is what they say to each other.
Cool. Anything else that Veris can
You can
look through or
scamper.
clean?
You can scamper up to the second story building, the second story part of this warehouse, and peek in. And this one gets you a smaller peephole, where you're able to see that there is a door that leads into this area from the warehouse below, and inside there are these rope fists, and they are rummaging through a crate that is open. In this crate, you can see small glass vials, each of them filled with some kind of translucent, clear blue fluid. And they're mumbling to each other. They're closer so you can hear them a bit more clearly. Boss wants us to move them. Let's pack them all away. Make sure we get every last one.
Are there any windows on this second level?
There are not.
Okay. So it doesn't look like, from Veris's perspective, that there's any way to get into the building from the roof.
I mean, you could through these holes that you've peeked through, you could probably drop down in through. You note that this section up here is higher up, and this is really far down. But there's three levels, it appears, to this warehouse.
Okay, so if Veris
There's
has kind of... Yeah.
There's this half balcony
Mm-hmm.
that stretches around.
Yeah, so Veris has kind of exhausted all of the areas he can look through on the roof. He's going to scamper back to Yrsimagor and relay everything that he has seen, including the bit about moving the liquid. I imagine Veris is leaning off of the roof and just... I only saw about 5 rope fists, though. There is quite a large portion, especially in this front area, that I haven't seen.
And you could find no other way in. And the front door be the only option. Do you think if I can get in the front door quietly and try to take as many out as I can without being discovered, from up there, do you have enough of a view to be able to try to take any others out?
Veris nods, though he says, I do have to admit that my blind spot, I haven't seen the front at all. I'm not really sure what is there or who is there. But yes, I do believe that I could get some of them on some of the higher levels.
Let me see if I can get this door open quietly. Get a look just inside. Still think it's going to be best if you stay up there. Let me go in face to face, even if we alert them. They'll think it's just me.
Yeah,
And if it gets too bad, then you can run back to the others. But if they're planning on moving this stuff, then we need to go in now.
Veris nods and then he says, "Right, I won't leave you," he says as he, "good plan," he says as he scampers back onto the roof and out of sight.
I'm going to try to pop this door, whether that means trying to pick a lock or pry it open or whatever that means, while trying to do it as quietly as possible.
You
I'm going to
notice
quietly
that the door,
break in.
the door is locked.
Okay.
You have probably not the ability to pick locks that easily, but you do have that gripper tool, which can be used to kind of just clamp the lock open by like massive crushing force to break the mechanisms, to give you advantage on the strength check required to break open the door.
I was thinking about the gripper tool, and I think as I pull it out, I'm just gonna mutter to myself, if this works, I'm gonna rename you Thieves' Tools. And yeah, I will use the gripper tool to try to pop this lock.
Okay.
So what check do you want me to make?
Strength, please, to
Straight strength?
pry the door open. Strength, yeah, strength with advantage.
Alright. With advantage, that's a dirty 20.
You crunch the hinges on this door, and the door swings open to however extent you want. You realize that the way this door has been boarded up doesn't impede at all it from opening or closing, just that lock. It's like a fake decorum.
As I suspected. Does it open in or out?
It opens out towards you.
As it starts to swing open, I'm going to stop it with my foot so that it doesn't get any more than 6 inches. I just want to get a look inside first.
Mm-hmm. How far is your dark vision? 60 feet?
60 feet.
Actually, no, it's illuminated inside. Never mind. So you'd be able to see up until here. And then you'd have your vision blocked. Let's see. Measure. You would be able to see this line. Okay.
Not very helpful that the measuring tool goes under the tug of war.
Okay, that should give you a new updated line of sight. You see a multi-leveled warehouse. You can see that there are crates and boxes strewn about. The floor is scuffed with wear and tear and long use. You see numerous rope fists going about their day. By day, I mean their business here under the cover of night. It seems that some of them are kind of on break. This guy up here at the top of the stairs, he's taken some drags off of a pipe. This guy is sharpening a knife. This guy is nursing a splitting headache. And that is the three of them that you see. You see there's a door up here on the second level, that leads up into another room, it seems like. That's what you see.
Which way is this guy facing?
He is facing like kind of like this way. He just like has his back against this corner of the area, and he's like not really looking at the door, but he could if he just like kind of looked up and to the left, he'd be able to see the door. But
Yes, what I want to do is slip through the door. Is this place in since you're using my dark vision, let me rephrase that. Since I'm using my dark vision, it's at least dim in here, right?
It's dim in here. There are a few like torches set like onto the walls just to give the place like some light, but the place does have lots of long shadows. One other thing, you'll notice a door here.
Okay. So that's a wall that runs right straight
Yeah.
across there.
Yes, let me make that a bit more clear.
The boxes and crates that are stacked here,
Mhm.
do they look like they block line of sight from between these two?
They're not. No, they're not
They're not
nearly
that
that
tall?
tall. No.
Okay. I'm gonna try stealth in, and it looks like I can stay in shadow. I want to try to stealth into this corner so that I can move along this wall towards this guy. That's the goal.
Yep. All right, you can do so by making a stealth roll to stay in the shadows.
A 15.
15. Let's see what their perception is. That beats their perception. You're able to move up to as far as you wish along that wall. You pass
And
by that door.
I'm gonna glance upward towards the ceiling, just trying to get a look at. I don't know if I even can see from inside here. Trying to get a sense of where Veris might be able to see. Not so much, more like, hey, I hope you're up there watching me kind of thing. Excuse me. My next move is I want to try to stealth along this wall, and as I get close, my intention is to try to grapple this guy, cover his mouth, and knock him out, or whatever I can do.
Gotcha. I've put little red X's on the map of where Veris could like hop down from the roof. Any of those 3 locations you can choose where you want to. If you want to enter the warehouse, that's where you can enter from the roof.
Of course, I choose one of the folks that I don't think Veris can even see.
You stealth up to this this rope fist that has not noticed you. You reach out, grab him, grappling him, and try to do that. Give me a strength athletics roll, please.
I would like to use a domain relic to roll with advantage, if I may.
Okay, you may.
I did put the new information in there. It's 1 to roll with advantage, 3 to re-roll, and 5 to make you re-roll.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm going to use, wrong button. Use that to roll with advantage, which will then that's a 15 athletics check to grapple.
The rope fist got a 16. Feeling you grab him, he pulls out, jumping, startled from this. What the shit? He says. It alerts the other rope fists. And with that, we are going to end the session.
Of course. I knew it was coming. I can't believe I lost that by 1.
Did lose it by 1.
Yep.
You don't have 5 domain
Listen,
relics banked away to make me read.
Split party with the biggest and the smallest party members taking on a warehouse full of rope fists. What could go wrong?
Everything's fine.
I'm hoping, I'm banking on Veris to be able to be some kind of spell sniper, or be up there with a crossbow or something to give me overwatch while I try to physically overpower these guys.
Speaking of, at this point, Veris, because initiative will be rolled, you will have to lock in a position. Where is Veris on the roof?
Veris
move
is going to
him.
be. Oh yeah, Veris is going to be. He's going to be here.
Okay, cool. We'll just lock in that, and I'm gonna put a little note on him saying that he's on the roof.
Yep.
Tense. I actually felt a little bit like playing Baldur's Gate 3, just trying to carefully maneuver and not alert people, and because this really did feel like a lose-lose situation. I'm a big orc trying to move silently to get close enough to knock one of these guys out. That's why I didn't think I had a chance going up the stairs. All right, so in 2 weeks we're gonna start off with some split party combat. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'll figure out how to get Zaari and Daeralei in here. I wonder if it'll be with one of those like, they've been gone so long. Where are they? It's supposed to be just a little reconnoiter.
Who reconnoiter? We should fix
Probably
that for them.
probably Yrsimagor. He's
Right.
the kind of type too.
All right. Before I start saying the thank yous and everything, I do want to once more make mention of this for anybody that might be here that wasn't here. We are very excited to be able to announce that on Saturday, April 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, we will be hosting Todd Stashwick's Nerd Circus Presents The Legend of Eleonora, Zephyr Against the Mist, a D&D celebrity charity live stream event featuring Dungeon Master Todd Stashwick and celebrity players Jonathan Frakes, Deborah Ann Wall, Michelle Hurd, and Will Wheaton. Even as I say those names, I still get chills every time. We just can't believe that this is happening, that we are having Commander Will Riker, Wesley Crusher, and the others. I honestly, I don't remember their characters' names because I'm still a little starstruck. Deborah Ann Wall, of course, from Daredevil and from True Blood. I believe her character's name was Jessica. Of course, Todd Stashwick and Michelle Hurd and Jonathan Frakes and Will Wheaton from Star Trek Enterprise. And Michelle Hurd was also, she was on Enterprise. So a lot of Star Trek folks, and our vampire from True Blood. And there's currently a seat that is up for auction that you can bid on for a chance to play in this game. If you are watching the VOD, just a reminder that after April, I'm going to say 7th, but it might be the 8th, that auction will no longer be valid, but there may be another seat going up for auction, and the game will be live right here on twitch.tv/miniterraindomain on April 20th. And the VOD will be available on the YouTube channel just a couple days after that. And as always, we will have the donations go live probably about a week or so ahead of the game, and we'll continue probably for another couple weeks after the game, so we can keep raising money for the Pavlov Foundation, benefiting them in their fight against childhood cancer. We are trying to raise $50,000, which is enough to fund a research grant. So we hope you'll come by, watch an amazing game. These games are always fun. Todd is once again running in his custom setting, the Dark Age of Tyr, which is a part of what he calls Progcore Fantasy. There will actually be some information during that. Within just a couple weeks of our game, Todd's Progcore Fantasy setting will be kickstarting. We'll be going live to Kickstarter. So we'll have some more information on that. But if you join the stream, there's also chances to bid on some cool items, and there'll be some giveaways from Pavlov and some Die Hard Dice and a few other sponsors that are joining us along the way. Hope to see you there. In the meantime, thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Thanks to our new followers. So many new people joining the domain in anticipation of this event. So welcome to everybody. Thank you for the bits and the subs and all that good stuff. If you are somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the chat, or you're watching later on the VOD, we appreciate you and hope you enjoy our presentation. Thank you to everybody that hangs out in the chat during the live stream. I don't often get to participate, but I love seeing activity over there, and I know people are talking about the game or whatever, probably making hashtag hand stuff jokes at my expense, whatever it may be. And of course, as always, a huge thank you to our Game Master Vi, but to everybody in this game. Thank you to Kaeryn, M, myself, and Vi, and Sara, though she was not with us tonight. She was with us in spirit. Thank you, everybody. With out of all of us, it would just be Vi talking to herself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want.